Rick, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy what I'm doing, please take the time to like, subscribe, follow. Well, what I want to talk about today is something that Jesus said, and a theme that is something he says, quite often. And it's basically, it says in Luke 14:33, that if you're not willing to give up everything, you can't be his disciple. He also said when James and John, when their mother asked that they could sit on his right and left side, he said, are they able to drink the cup that I'm going to drink from? And he said, yes, they will drink from it, but assigning seats is something I can't do. He also said that if you're not willing to take up your cross, that you can't be his disciple. And finally, we see in John 20, where Jesus and Peter are walking by the sea, and Jesus says to Peter, do you love me more than these? And the these is not really defined, but we know what Jesus is saying to all of us, not just Peter. Do you love me more than the things in your life you felt you needed to define you, the things that you felt that you couldn't live without? Do you love me more than those things? Because each and every one of us is faced with that question and that decision at some time in our life as we look to follow Jesus. I just want to tell you a quick story about myself where it was put before me, would I be willing to love Jesus more than these things? And it was during a time in my life where all my friends had gone on to careers. They had graduated college and they all had really cool careers, and I didn't. And so I was doing manual labor and I was working alone at night, and I felt deserted. I felt all my friends had moved on and I was left behind. And what happened was, now I was a believer at this point, but I was very depressed about this. And what I said to the Lord is, I don't think, if you don't get me out of here, I don't believe I can still walk with you. I was having a tantrum. And, I was in this state of mind for quite a few months, and I wrestled with this. And finally, I came to the place where I said to the Lord, you know what? The truth is I love you. I'm going to serve you. Whether you ever get me out of this or not, whether I spend the rest of my life doing this, I will do this to the best of my ability unto you. And I'm not putting any conditions on my service to you. I have decided that I love you more than these. And with that, my life began to change. God did wonderful things, and he just elevated my life, and my life took a whole different trajectory. But I first had to come to the point where I was willing to, as Jesus said, lay down my life or take up my cross or choose, did I love him more than these things? And I think we all face this in life. Each one of us that serve Jesus are going to be, this question is going to be put to us, a situation, maybe several times, where you have to decide, do you love him more than the things that you felt you needed to give you value and give you meaning in life? And because Jesus wants to be the reason why we have meaning in life. And once we realize that he becomes our meaning, he becomes the reason why we're living, that's when you start to really become a disciple. And that's when things really start to happen in a great way as you're walking with Jesus. Well, this is just something to think about. I'm Pastor Rick. Remember, with Jesus, there's always hope, there's always love. God bless you. I'll see you soon.